Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining in on this kind of scheduled, but not really up to our usual schedules of Saturdays. So I'm happy that some of you are able to join in to chit chat or react on the big news item. I suppose news item of the week could be of the month, could well be of the year. And yes, I'm referring to Air Canada announcing that Aeroplan was going revenue based. So here we are. I'm happy that everybody's here so we can act and react to everything we've read, we've seen. Perhaps you can tell me a few things that I may have missed since I'd been staring at that for a little while. And Martin is asking, when is PMB get? Hey, Martin. When is PMB getting the exclusive plug? There is no exclusive plug. Well, there is kind of an exclusive thing coming up, right? It's Scott's time. So Scott O'Leary will be with us in a couple of weeks' time. So we intentionally decided that we'll give it a couple of weeks because people want to be able to read all of these things and understand what these changes mean for their own travel patterns, for their own say points earning habits or elite status habits or elite status journeys and so on. So yeah, in this case, the exclusive would be Scott coming on in a couple of weeks' time. So August 23rd, which is again a Saturday. So we'll stick to our usual Saturday, 1 p.m., August 23rd. You can save the date. Scott O'Leary, who is VP of Air Canada or VP Aeroplan. He'll be with us to talk about the changes, things to look forward to. Perhaps you want a certain rationale, as our Discord channel had a couple of really good questions about why things were the way they were, and yeah, that kind of conversation, and what we can look forward to as a membership in this new world of revenue-based Aeroplan. Let's see. There's already been a few comments here. Dahlia's here. Hello, Dahlia. Donna, Heather, thank you. You're always so kind. Already plugged in my link there. Uh, oh, Martin, you flatter me. Martin says nothing better than being on Zoom with Anshul. Hey, what else? Justin says, we noticed how uphill Aeroplan got when Mark took over Aeroplan. Really? You think so? And I'm taking your comment as is. I'm not refuting it because everybody interacts with the program their own way. Oh, you when you say uphill, you mean for the better? Okay. When I read uphill, I thought it was making the member journey an uphill task, that kind of thing. Sarcasm. Okay, fair enough. No, I think where my brain immediately went was, I think what the new Aeroplan and the sort of redesigned Aeroplan 20 a la 2020 did really well was to keep certain level of gamification within the program, which is what this community loves about all of these loyalty programs, be it hotels, airlines, or otherwise, because we love that little gamification within that. It allows us to sort of keep engaged with the program, allows us to sort of constantly look for what the maximizing opportunities are, and that's intentional by the program. And Mark and Scott have both spoken about it really eloquently here. Is that they understand how fun that is as AvGeeks themselves. Uh, and so they've kept some of those possibilities open, or they had kept some of those possibilities open in the redesigned program, redesigned Aeroplan, like I said, a la 2020. I think with the recent change going into revenue-based, one, my immediate reaction was, oh, thank God they're not changing anything on the redemption side yet. On I think there's still enough nuggets in there for the maximizers, for those of us that really like the gamification process in these loyalty programs. There's enough there for you to be able to dabble with the products within that ecosystem and bring yourselves up to say 50K, 75K, or get enough points for you to continue to redeem. And we've seen over the years that the sheer number of partnerships that Aeroplan has had, it really opens up possibilities with non-alliance partners, with partners that you typically would not have flown, but now that they are partners and the seats are available on points, you will be able to do that. But as most things are changing and evolving, so only time will tell if if the program remains interesting enough, say in a couple of years' time, because I really honestly feel that this is step one to the change that we are seeing. This is kind of like changes 1.0, and these are totally my words. I do not have any advanced knowledge of this, um, but I feel like they wouldn't want have gone on to shock the entire program A to Z all at once. So I think this is the first go at making the revenue model. And once all of the IT systems catch up, all of the ways of tracking and getting all the points and calculating things, all of that gets sort of fine-tuned. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years we start to see a few more tweaks and changes, maybe for the better. Somebody on actually Timbo was asking why wouldn't they go the whole US credit card kind of system, which is American Airlines, I suggested, which is if you have the credit card and if you have the means to spend on the credit card, you could be the highest top tier status within the program without even setting foot on a plane. And my immediate reaction to that is, and again, gauging by what I've heard so far from Aeroplan executives, from Aeroplan staff members, they're all working at it from the perspective of let's get the revenue-based model out first, and let's see how we can safeguard our most dear clients, which is the ones that already spend enough cash and enough money in the program, are super engaged, are super elites, and have gone about the hard way and continue to do that year over year for several years. So I think they're definitely trying to safeguard that population because at the end of the day, when they're saying that the program is going to go revenue based, what they're also saying is they want to be able to award people that are willing to spend a little bit more on Air Canada metal, on Star Alliance partners, on other Aeroplan partners, retail partners, credit card partners, and so on. But at the same time, they also don't want to dilute their top tier status, which is the coveted super elite status for the vast majority of super elites that have to do this as a road warrior, the tough way around year over year, as opposed to this community of, and I'm not trying to trivialize this community, but a lot of us don't travel as much as a typical super elite would. So if it becomes super easy for us to use all the ways from paying your bills to using Chexi to whatever the case might be, and just getting even 75K consistently, and then maybe using a bump to get into super elite through the Chase card, that is possible right now. I think they're trying to close out some of those just to safeguard their most what's the most loyal customers within the program at the top tier level. I think that's what's happening right now. So I see this more as a change 1.0 and maybe in a couple of years. And I say couple of years simply because it takes time for all of these IT systems. And hey, we know we've seen that journey from 2020 to 2025, how many things are still a challenge through the IT setup, how many things have drastically improved, be it family sharing, be it calculations, be it the weekly calendar, the searches, and so on and so forth. All of that has dramatically improved, but it takes time. So I think once those IT systems catch up, we might then see a few other things come along, perhaps for the good, perhaps for the worse. And I kind of mentioned this in my post as well, right? Is it better? Is it worse? That question is really hard to answer. Everybody will have a different take, different interpretation as to how these changes impact their own personal style. But the simple things that everybody can see is if you are one of those members that is willing to spend more, or you're a high spender already, you'll be well rewarded in this new setup, in this new program. The good news is nothing changes in 2025. All of your qualifications, all of your earning continues as is in 2025. And this is for your actual status and actual usage of these points in 2026. Starting January 1st, 2026 is when you have to change and adapt to this new way of calculating through SQC. And we'll talk a little bit about what all of these things are if you're just joining us or if you haven't had the chance to sort of deep dive into the plethora of content that's out there now. Den B says, is is this basically about thinning the ranks? Um, I don't think so. We asked that question straight up, Denby, and didn't get didn't get any sense that they were trying to hide anything or they were trying to thin the ranks. They did acknowledge that some of those ranks, like the 35K and stuff, were had a lot of members, but at the higher end, they didn't seem to believe that there were too many of these super elites that they were trying to cut out, or a 50K or a 75K that they were trying to cut out. It was really about wanting. They are in a position to make the money, right? And they are in a position where they're seeing not only the demand for travel skyrocket, but the penchant of people that are willing to pay a little bit more for a better experience. So why not, uh, you know, uh, why not sort of deliver on that? Why not capture that audience and deliver a better product, a product that, and also I'm sure there was some of it about looking around at other Star Alliance partners who were all revenue based. Lufthansa recently went revenue based as well, I think late last year, and probably the implementation continues into this year. So they were looking at those as well, and I'm sure they look and learn a lot within the industry as well. And all the indicators are that yes, as soon as you make things revenue model, airlines are making more money, loyalty programs are making even more money. Loyalty programs with co-branded credit cards are just allowing people to spend even more and reap bigger rewards. We are seeing this from the credit card companies themselves. They're willing to give you more and more and more as long as you're willing to spend more and more and more. So I really think that these changes are, for a lack of better term, fair. Uh, from the POV of the airline as a business, as a Canadian business. Um, and I think it will, over time, it will even out in terms of fairness. And I use the quotes because I don't think it's being unfair. They are basically just tweaking the rules in terms of how we continue to collect miles, how we continue to collect points and use them. The good news in all of this, like I said at the right at the start, is none of the redemption side of things have changed through this model just yet. And we got used to dynamic pricing, we got used to preferred pricing, we got used to what's it called, preferred partner pricing, when United and Emirates and all of them became dynamic award charts and whatnot. And I'm sure we'll get used to this model as well. We just have to keep at it, keep adept, and keep be nimble and flexible in the long run. Yeah, Heather says, I just want a useful search tool. So far, less enjoyable for me, says Heather. Uh, there is no more gamification, says Martin. Adam says, feels like most of this community is all about minimizing spend while maximizing benefits. So moving the revenue based naturally makes that harder. Yeah, and nothing wrong in that, to be honest, Adam. I think there's room for everybody, just as much as there is room for a person that purchases business class seats on cash, either by themselves or a company that's paying for them to fly around the world in business class. And is paying for it. Just as much as there's room for them, I think there is room for this community. There's more than room for this community, or people that don't want to spend and are frugal with their spending and yet want some way to remain engaged and remain loyal to a program. I think there's room for it. I think Aeroplan has acknowledged not just this community, but also the community that constantly buys basic fares, no matter how much you tell them that that's not the best idea. At least in this new system, their basic ticket will still earn them some points, which is great. So there's that. But yeah, kind of agreeing that with this community, if you don't want to spend, it is going to be a harder pill to swallow. Um, yeah, Adam also goes on to say, totally agree, though less enjoyable upon first glance. And I don't think your first glance is far off, Adam, especially if you bring the POV of this community, the points community that sort of wants to try ways of minimizing the money leaving their wallets and maximizing the returns that they can get from a program. So I don't think you're far off when you say that at first glance, it does seem that it's hard one to gulp down. I think Denby says, I think they feel this model gives them more control. They can offer goodies in real time. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, accurate. Adam says, this mindset makes sense. Aeroplan wants to appeal to those who actually bring them revenue, not as maximizers. Yeah, Adam, I kind of mentioned this So I know I'm behind on your messages. I'm about 15 minutes past since you posted this, but yeah, I think yes, they want to appeal to those that bring them revenue, but there is room for us all, and they have acknowledged this in more than one ways. One last hurrah for 75K plus chase bump to super elite, says Martin. Yeah. Hey, enjoy it. Uh, don't get too attached to your super elite, Martin. I can tell you from experience that it's not the greatest when you have to leave that super elite door. That said, I think this community is better off in managing the expectations in terms of what we have versus what it could be. So soon. Justin says, would this work though? Doesn't Chase lose the level up bump in 2026? Correct. And Martin has responded accurately, not if you earned it in 2025. Correct. So nothing changes in 2025, Justin. Everything that you do in 2026 will impact your status in 2027. So nothing changes right now. Denby says agenda, fewer super elite, less lounge crowding, fewer e-ups in circulation. And I think, yeah, accurate. I don't know if that is the agenda. I think that'll be the byproduct of this change. That's how I'm seeing it. Fewer super elites, only we'll have to wait and see if that really happens. And maybe there are too many super elites, kind of like Martin is, who's maximizing his chase bump by being 75K and using the level up. They might lose a few super elites, less lounge crowding, 100%. I would really love if that happens and happens consistently. We've all complained about that. So we now, when the new program change, that may actually impact real positive change should that launch crowding issue comes through, which is vis-a-vis revenue model. I don't think, at least I don't think I could turn back and say, oh, I didn't like launch crowding, but I also don't like this because you're trying to thin out the launch crowding. So I think it's a good thing if that eventually happens and sticks in this new model. Fewer e-ups in circulation. How many times have we heard and how many times have we all shared? I have 100 e-ups expiring. I have 110. I have 120 e-ups expiring. I can never use my e-ups. What? So I think that e-up experience became an overall, or at least within this community, seemed to sort of invite no overall negative experiences. So I think having fewer e-ups in circulation is a good thing. To be very honest, I rather you give me, for example, at best 40 or 50 e-ups through my journey of having status. And then I decide to use it or not use it and lose that. But if you shower me with e-ups up the wazoo and then I can't use even a single one of them, it suddenly flips on its head and seems like a negative proposition. So I think if fewer e-ups in circulation is the reality going forward, I don't begrudge Air Canada for it. In fact, that might be even better for overall customer experience within the program. And then he also goes on to say, I agree the redemption situation may come out okay. Too early to know. Yeah, agreed. Too early to know. We'll just have to wait and watch. Justin says, last few years, I just let my e-ups. Oh, there we go. I just let my e-ups expire. I had close to 100 e-ups. It's almost like I was reading your comment 30 seconds ago. I cannot use any of them. I just let them expire. Yeah. That's exactly what we were talking about. So hard to chase super elite status when you cannot use any e-ups. I let them expire too, says Andy. And Justin replies saying it's hard to justify super elite status when you cannot even use most of the perks like e-ups. I can tell you, Justin, e-ups were not even close. And maybe Martin can chime in. Martin, tell me the two biggest things you will miss about having super elite status. And I think from my time, so those are the two things I would miss: concierge and free cancellation. When I mean, I do miss them even today because I don't have super elite, but I'm sure those are the things people talk about, Justin, not e-ups. I think most people that are super elites don't care as much about e-ups, and that might surprise you, but that's just the reality. 10B says, why give the goodies to us when they can monetize them? Reasonable. Adam says premium in this case means $400 to $600 annual fee card, like the TD VIP card or Amex Reserve card, right? Not the 100 to, that is correct. Adam, in this case, premium means Visa Infinite Privilege cards by TD and VIP, and the Reserve card by Aeroplan, not your usual 100 or $200 annual fee cards. So those are the three, or the business version of the reserve card, of course, and the business version. Is there a business version of the VIP cards? I don't think so, but those are the cards we're talking about. Oh no, Martin says I'm only a 50K right now, which was great for United Domestic Lounge access. Don't need super elite. Fair enough. Cedric is here. Cedric says, I think the saddest part is how you have to choose between priority rewards versus the usual select benefits now. Right. I was conflicted when I was writing the piece about the milestone rewards. And again, like I said, if I ever go through your questions, comments in a timely fashion, maybe we can talk about it a little more in terms of the actual benefits as opposed to just acting and reacting to it. But yeah, when I was going through that, I was of two minds as well. One, I liked the flexibility that as once you have status, every 10,000 SQC that you earn, you get these mileage rewards. Very similar to Hyatt, right? Hyatt does this, not mileage, milestone, sorry. Hyatt does this milestone awards as well. So very similar to that concept or idea. Uh, I kind of like the fact that I can mix and match and try this, a little bit of this, and then the next step I try a little bit of that. So I kind of like that idea because when it was the select benefits, I always struggled because the selection was so thin. But I think in the new milestone benefits era of Aeroplan, I think as you get higher, the selection becomes more robust and better. Almost every 10,000 step, the selection is slightly different. I kind of like it, to be honest. I had to think about this one even when I was writing, if I was really enthused about the idea of having to select or not getting one thing over the other, but at least you have a chance and you know that that's not your only chance, right? So once you have status and you get your first 10K, you get a little something. You get your 20K, you get to choose a little something. 30K, you get some more e-ups. 40K, you get a nice selection. You get to do that again. So as long as you're willing to sort of keep going through the ranks and through the steps, you get a little more choice to play around with what you want and what you don't. And maybe you try a certain selection of benefits one year. You don't like them, you change them the next year and sort of redo it. So don't. Yeah, I think I like it. I like the extra selection, but to Cedric's point, Cedric doesn't enjoy this idea of choosing between priority rewards versus usual benefits. Um, yeah, I get it. But priority rewards are becoming a little more gettable through these milestone steps, in my opinion, as opposed to simply spending X amount of dollars and only getting priority reward at that point of time. Denby says super elites miss irregular. Yeah, super elites. What he misses about super elites is irregular operations, free cancellation, and change. 100%. Martin says they nerfed guarantee. Yes, last year. You're right, Martin. And there was some conversation around that as well. Is that again? It was turning into one of those negative experiences for some people, where Air Canada was guaranteeing economy seats, and when they did, and in a lot of the cases, these are their words. This is how Scott explained it. That in a lot of the times when super elites were choosing to, or when the program was allowing them to enforce that guarantee economy seats, the person, because load factors have been so high in the recent past, the person or the people that were missing out on their economy seats, it was really becoming a negative experience for them by getting bumped by a super elite. So I think they've recognized that it's not worth their while in creating negative experiences for somebody. Martin says, yeah, concierge and free cancellation for sure. Justin says free cancellation, both reward ticket. Oh, for free cancellation, book flex reward tickets. Use the free changes to downgrade closer to the flight date. Okay. Yeah, we've some of us have been doing it more successfully than others. Timbo is here. Timbo says, what destinations can you use the new priority rewards for? Nothing. Yeah, priority rewards as a benefit are not changing, Timbo. That really depends on what status you hold and how much you'll be able to, or what regions you'll be able to use your priority rewards in. So if you're super elite, it continues to be the same all the way through to business class anywhere in the world. So none of that is changing. It's just at what point do you have access to these priority rewards, and at what point do you get these in your account is what's changing. Carol says, I'm happy I don't rely on Air Canada for Star Alliance status. E-ups are nearly impossible to use for low-tiered status, so not worth the chase. Another airline for Star Alliance or just none at all? Another airline for Star Alliance, says Carol. Jackie's here. Jackie says, booking the lowest J award is better than using e-ups in the past 2 years. 100%, Jackie. Well said. That's what I mean. My entire pattern had shifted that way. That I rather just book the lowest business class ticket or try and book myself directly into a business class ticket. And if not, if I had to use my e-ups, then I would either look at Latitude or Premium Economy, Flex, that kind of thing. But yeah, just booking yourself lowest business class directly. If your points and availability offers you that option, then that's the best way of doing it, rather than relying on e-ups, that is. Yeah, more comments around expiring e-ups. Sash is here too. Sash says, so to confirm, I can get some awesome 25K status by having Bonvoy Titanium or by spending 20K a year on Chase Aeroplan card. That's all I really care about. Thank you. Yeah, I could confirm that that is correct. Your Bonvoy Titanium match to 25K lives on. There is no issues. Imal says, isn't 25K getting nerfed next year too? No select rewards, 5 e-ups versus 25 e-ups. What's the point of 25K? Asking this as a current 25K not planning to renew. Martin says he wants it for priority Aeroplan calls. Yeah, that would be a good one. I mean, if I had to make 25K just for this one benefit, this would be it, is just having access to priority line when you have to call Aeroplan for whatever has happened. Sash confirms, Sash says, I don't care about e-ups, Imal. It's for priority calls. Um, yeah, and those are things, some of us that don't call Aeroplan as often for these niche bookings or for very specific routes. Like I just haven't had the need to call Aeroplan in a while. And that's more a function of how I choose to travel these days. More direct flight, simple routings and whatnot, as opposed to simple multi-city bookings. If I had to, I can add a stopover online. So those things have been okay for me. But for somebody like Sash, I can totally see why at least having 25K is a game changer. Uh, 25K call queue has been trashed the last few times I've tried, but I would imagine non-status would be worse. Fair point, says Imo. Yeah, fair enough. And we're not saying just having 25K, meaning you'll connect in 10 minutes, uh, but it's going to be better than the usual open line, that's for sure. Denby says, I gotta say, this change is the final nail, not a fanboy of Air Canada status. Not gonna put 15K on Chase card in 2026. Probably won't get titanium Bonvoy, so bye bye Air Canada 25K. E-up was its only value to me. And fair enough. And fair enough. I think you won't be alone in that, uh, Denby. There would be a few other people that are exactly like you who will decide that just doing so much work just to get 25K, especially when 25K gets a bit more diluted next year, is just not worth it. So fair point to you. And the good news is in this big world of loyalty programs and airlines, we have so many options. So we can definitely try out the other programs and whatnot. And the other good news is Air Canada is always around, easy access, ecosystem is large enough, a barrier to entry is low enough that if you ever decide you want to come back or try them one more time, even if for 25K or just flying around or connecting somewhere, they're always here. They're available, easy to get to. Cedric says, the extra 2 points on the e-store really adds up with the 25K. So yeah, just because you're talking about e-apps, e-store, there was some question about would e-stores earn EQC? And I got a confirmation that they do not, and also got pointed out that it literally says that right under in that EQC, it's in fine print on the page itself that e-store purchases currently do not qualify for EQC earning. But like I said, this is just the first go at this new model. Once all of the IT systems catch up, hopefully we get eStore back on at some point. That'll be a great addition for folks that are looking to earn extra EQCs or elite qualification credits. Andy says, guys, I never connected Aeroplan and Marriott. I do have Titanium too. Do you connect through Aeroplan or through Marriott? Um, you can do it through Aeroplan, Andy. If you log into your Aeroplan account and go to your dashboard, look up partners, and you'll notice Marriott there, and you'll see a little link that'll allow you to do that. Somebody can comment if that has changed in the recent past, but that's how I remember it in the last little while. Oh, Dahlia has posted a link for you, Andy. Hopefully you can use that. Fantastic. Right. Look at that. I made it through all of your comments. I'm glad I did. Should we talk a little bit about, actually, let me give you a few numbers that we got from Aeroplan, which I thought were interesting. Um, and I'll have to pull up my previous, back in 2020, I attended the uh, media event where they were doing the relaunch, and this was in the midst of COVID. So a small group of us were invited, and I remember in that vividly have this memory of question asked, how many members does current Aeroplan have? And the answer was somewhere around 3.5 or 4 million. That's how I vaguely remember it. This is 2020. Aeroplan has confirmed that current active, and this is 2025, I don't know which month, but in 2025, Aeroplan has 9 million plus active members. So they have more than doubled since the launch. And if you want to believe them, it's a much more younger and a lot more engaged audience, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest, with just the sheer vastness of their partnership portfolio that has gone up. They were able to confirm some of these numbers for us. So 9 million. Uh, Heather says the increase in membership has not been reflected in the seat availability. That's my issue. The increase in membership has not been reflected. Really? How has it not been reflected? You mean in terms of more seats being made available? In the new, Heather, apologies if I completely misunderstood your question, but all seats are available in the new dynamic world with Air Canada flights. And I think the increase in membership is being reflected in the seat availability, in that there is just way too many people uh, compared to 2020 that are using this, like more than double are now using Aeroplan and earning Aeroplan points and trying to get those seats. So I think it is being reflected in the excessive demand on each aircraft, especially on popular routes. You can't keep increasing density and thinking everyone will still be able to enjoy the amenities. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is some sweet spot that every airline can hit, given how their infrastructure and flights and all of that is sort of expanding. And I mean, I don't have the numbers, but my sense is given that they've been announcing a lot of these new routes, yes, they're coming at the behest of some of these US routes to Europe, to so many other places in South America, Central America, out to Asia, and all of that. It just feels like they are adding more and more seats every year, but just cannot keep up with the demand that they're getting from people that are not only willing to spend more and more of their money, that are also willing to spend more and more of their points to book these seats. So I think it's being well reflected to a point where, uh, to what you're saying, Heather, that there has to be some threshold here where you suddenly realize that you have too many members. And the vast majority of that 9 million members are here in Canada. Um, I think they let out the fact that they were just under a million in the US, if I recall correctly. So even if you think about 8 million or slightly more than 8 million here in Canada, that's a lot of Canadians on earning Aeroplan points and trying to redeem them for flights. Uh, and so some of the other 1.6 million flights were redeemed in 2023, and 500,000 members earned 40K plus Aeroplan points in 2024. So there we go. Out of the 9 million, only 500,000 members were earning 40,000 points or more in that year. What does that tell you? So you see how it shrinks pretty quickly when you're talking about how many points people are earning. So when you think about how many people must be earning 100,000 points, yeah, exactly, Martin. Martin says, bunch of plebs. Yeah, and when you think about this group, you realize that it is for a reason that this points community is called the 1% of, or maybe 5%, or I think it's more like 1% of the real heavy portfolio of points that are out there. Yeah, Dahlia says COVID time was best time for Aeroplan. Yeah, and goes on to list a whole bunch of perks like 25K status just for transferring Amex MR to Aeroplan, 50% off redemptions with North America stopover, e-ups to YVR in J for cheap, bump to 35. Yeah, COVID, what a weird thing to say, but we can all say this now. COVID was a weird time, but COVID was a great time to be in this hobby because we got to enjoy such outsized value from all of these programs, particularly from Aeroplan, that it was fun. And now, as we go and sort of things are quote unquote normalizing again, it seems like our benefits are eroding. But really, it's just normalizing in the long scheme of things, and we are just moving in a different direction. Yeah, Justin says, great times. I almost got 3 years of super elite. Yeah. Carol says, I have to disagree. Eroding, in my view, not normalizing. That's already been done since COVID. Fair point. Okay. I mean, yeah, I think when I said normalizing, Carol, I was juxtaposing that against the demand, the insane demand that we are seeing, uh, that airlines are seeing, that I am noticing from all the travelers, much like yourself and others, that are willing to pay more in points, in money, that are prioritizing experiences that are just just there. Everybody wants to be there, and so many of these flights, despite everything, just super heavy load factors. Things are expensive, but people are still traveling. Things get more expensive, but people are still paying. Things get even more expensive, but people still want to pay more. So we're noticing that behavior at the super high end of travel as well. I'm also looking at the clock. I don't want to keep everybody here till midnight, so let's quickly look at what really is changing starting January 1st, 2026. So revenue-based earning of your points basically means that what you earn from each ticket is going to be based on your base fare plus carrier surcharges, excluding taxes and third-party fees. And then, so base fare and carrier surcharges is what you'll be using. So combining that, and of course, you'll get the elite. As an elite member, you'll get anywhere between 2x to 6x points per dollar. So that'll become your calculation. And this is the good part. These two things I think are net positives coming from this program in a big way. Is elite qualification is being simplified. The criteria is being simplified. So no longer do you have to try and explain to your colleague who does not care about flying to begin with. You don't have to explain what SQM, SQD, and SQ, whatever SQ stands for. SQC is the single metric that will now be used to determine if you meet status or not. And then, of course, based on you could, based on the kind of fare you buy, basic fare, standard fare, flex fare, and above, you can earn as much as 4x. Actually, basic fares don't get any SQC, so ignore me. Standard fare get 2x, flex fare and above get 4x. So again, this is just a little gentle nudge and a push for most people to try and book at least flex fares and above if you're looking to maximize your SQC earning. Denby is in his usual flair and panache says simpler, more choice. Yeah, these are just uh, words that I've been reading on these media releases. So of course, I'm using some of these, but SQC really will make it easy. And as somebody that does this well, as a profession, tries to tell people what's good and how to get certain ways, I really, for people that don't care about this hobby, it's so difficult to not have their eyes start glazing over as soon as you try and explain why SQD, SQM, and SQS all have to be dancing with each other for you to meet status. This is an easy one to explain. So hence my excitement about SQC being a single metric enhancement. Yes, enhancement, says Heather. Uh, Milestone benefits. I actually like this. This is again appeals to my gamification side of the brain a little bit. I love, absolutely love the milestone awards that Hyatt gives for once you achieve certain number of nights, and then goes on to, at every milestone that you hit, you get a little something. So this program will also, the new Aeroplan that the revenue-based model will now have milestone benefits as well. So new milestone benefits will uh, become a reality and will unlock some select benefits starting at 10,000 SQC. So they start as low as 10,000 SQC, and you won't get these benefits if you don't have status to begin with. These milestone benefits are only for people that have existing status. So 10K onwards for folks that have existing. If you don't have existing status, once you hit 25K, 10K, every 10K after that would be what you get. No, you've spoken about this already. I think the other piece that remains to be seen is there was a lot of conversation around, especially around how else can you get SQCs. And one of the things that caught my attention, and they've sort of put emphasis on this in their media release, so makes me think that we'll start seeing them sooner than later, is frequent promotions for SQC earnings, for bonus SQC earnings. And this excites me because every year in September, we haven't heard anything yet for this coming September, but every year in the past couple of years, September, we get this bonus promotion, right? That counts towards your status. It could be a status bump, it could be an accelerated promotion for your status and whatnot. So every September it came through. So I'm seeing this as an equivalent of that, that frequently you'll get targeted as whatever status you have. You'll get targeted by saying, hey, you can earn 2x if you book your, I don't know, cash tickets to Japan in the next few weeks. Or, hey, you get 3x if you book your tickets to, I don't know, Latin America somewhere. So when these things come through, I think it'll be nice. Only time will tell how targeted they are. Um, so we'll have to wait and see what comes of these frequent promotions that they're promising, especially to earn SQC. I have no doubt in believing that at least for the first year, they'll try and put the best foot forward to make sure that people realize these are beneficial. But again, a lot of these promotions, the frequent promotions to earn SQC, are going to be cash purchases of tickets and may not appeal to everybody in this community. Cedric says, I think Aeroplan will still have the best loyalty program in Canada despite the changes. Oh, 100%, Cedric. No doubts in my mind whatsoever. Porter, WestJet are just kind of meh in comparison for now. The ever positive Denby chimes in, says, or all three suck at the same time. No, I mean, given what we have, even in North America, and you guys will probably hate me for saying this, I think even in this structure, the new structure, Aeroplan will be my favorite North American loyalty program. And yeah, Heather says a stagnant puddle in a desert is better than dying of thirst. Yeah, yeah, why not? Sure. Yes, Carol. And Carol says these changes will free a lot of people becoming free agents and book with other airlines. That's not such a bad thing, Carol. I, as somebody that's not going to be a free agent just yet, I think next year, once I've done my 2026 activities, then I may be deciding if it's worthwhile for me to get 50K every year or not. Nonsense, says Denby. I think that's to my comment about still being the best in North America. Uh, you're giving them too much puff. Yeah, bloggers, says Justin. Yeah, it would be amazing if they had a specific status tier program for bloggers. Write two blogs, get 25K. Write three glorious posts, get 35K. Unfortunately, they don't. Yeah, Denby says, yeah, I would be super elite already. Yeah, maybe I could write a couple more, or do up like a few TikToks or a few reels telling you why Air Canada is the best thing out there. Uh, Alex says SQP, status qualifying posts. Yeah, there we go, Alex. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? All right. Revenue-based accrual. So yeah, we all know this. So Aeroplan regular member 1x is basically what you get if you're super elite up to 6x. And this is why I feel like at least for 2026, if I can somehow manage to get myself to 50K again in the new system, I would love to see what that 4x does for me as I continue to purchase some of these tickets. I don't think my redemption habits are going to change at all. But for the tickets that I do purchase, for a handful of tickets that I do purchase in a year, it'd be nice to see if I can continue to organically meet 50K since I'll have this 4x multiplier with me, or maybe even hit up 75K. Only time will tell. So 2026, I'm willing to sort of, without drastically changing how I do things in with Air Canada or with Aeroplan, I would love to see what 2026 holds for me in terms of using all of these multipliers, buying a few tickets, and seeing how many SQCs I'm easily earning, be it through bonus promotions or otherwise. SQCs, we've kind of covered most of it anyways. Um, yeah, the if you want to, I mean, rather unsurprisingly, your best chance at earning the most SQCs is to fly Air Canada and have status with Air Canada. The next up would be either Air Canada or their preferred partners. They have a list of preferred partners, which is sort of United, Lufthansa, Swiss, Copa. Maybe I'm missing one or so. If you fly with them, you'll get enough SQCs as well. The partners that don't get SQC is the non-Star Alliance partners and Star Alliance partners, and a lower number of SQCs if you are flying Star Alliance partners that are not preferred partners, not the four or five that I just mentioned. So yeah, it's interesting because now it sort of adds a little additional layer, especially for all the people. I'm thinking at all of my colleagues back in the university where they're traveling to all kinds of places. And sometimes when Air Canada system itself is giving you so many of these combinations with code share partners, non-code share partners, and so on and so forth. While you're purchasing these tickets, you have to be a little careful in terms of how you calculate and keep a close eye on how SQC will and what kind of SQC you can expect in a way not very different from what you had to watch out for to make sure that you were going to earn your SQMs or SQS for some of these uh, you know uh, random airline partners that the ticketing would link you up with. But yeah, so time will tell once we start booking as to how many of these we really start seeing and what the SQC calculations would be. Retail and credit card partnerships, of course, continues. We've spoken a little bit about eStore, how that is not going to earn you SQC, but there's I mean, the two things that came up was 25,000 SQC caps on credit card spend as well as retail partner spend. These two are distinct but are stackable. So you can technically get your 25K SQC from retail partners. Holy crap, how much spending you'll have to do is just mind-boggling to get 25,000 SQCs from retail partners and then 25,000 SQC from your credit card. You can technically stack them and get your 50K that way, but I don't see too many people really being able to unlock. Yeah, Cedric says that's a lot of alcohol at LCBO. Yeah. Oh, Heather says the cat treadmill I bought off Amazon begs to differ. Hey, you know, uh, look, we all look forward to Amazon and Amazon purchases and whatnot. So maybe some of those retail partners will give you enough points, but 25,000 SQC, because don't forget you're earning one SQC for every $5 you spend. So it's not one to one to begin with, right? So it's one SQC for every $5 at a retail partner. So that's a lot of dollars spent in Amazon, in LCBO, or Uber Eats and the Uber in general. Martin says partner airlines count towards the 25K cap. Yeah, they do. They do. So Lufthansa, United, Copa are in that 25K one. Agreed. Yes. I apologize if I made it sound like they were not, but they definitely are. Yeah, they are part of that cap. The only, I mean, in this entire scenario now, Martin has been thinking the only uncapped ones are, of course, if you're flying Air Canada, you're uncapped and you can earn as many SQCs as you want there. Yeah, so I guess the big change from elite qualification requirements was with 100K. So 100K no longer requires just 100,000 SQM. It requires 125,000 SQM or SQC rather in the new world. Everything else remains the same. 50K requires 50K, 75K, 75K, so on and so forth. But 100K becomes 125 SQC. Yeah, so also accumulating, to kind of just mention that one SQC per 5 points with partners like Starbucks or LCBO, Star Alliance, and that's what Martin was talking about. They're part of that 25,000 SQC per year group where you are earning one SQC for every 5 points you earn. And the credit card spend is again premium cards, so VIP cards and the reserve versions from Amex will earn 1,000 SQC for every 5,000, so exactly how it is right now. And the other cards will earn 1,000 for every 20,000 spent on the core cards, which, to be honest, that is so difficult. I don't know why anyone would hold a core card if they cared about status. If you really cared about status and SQC, uh, you just, the difference is so big. 1,000 SQC for 5,000 spent versus 1,000 SQC for 20,000 spent. So, yeah, if you find your friends, family care about status but don't want to upgrade themselves to a premium card, this is your chance to tell them why they should be. Carol says, considering that Mike's earning will be reduced, there should be a similar consideration towards redemption. Air Canada raised redemptions first, then release these plans. Miles earning. Okay, not Mike's earning. Considering that Miles earning will be reduced. Actually, Carol, that may not be true depending on your status. We looked at several scenarios. I, of course, did not post, but I was like busy churning, and I understand that this is only a few hours for you looking at this. Start calculating based on your status and based on the fare type. And in some cases, you would be earning significantly more SQCs and points. Uh, like I said, in some cases, depending on your status, depending on the fare type you're buying, but give it a whirl before you think that it's going to reduce, earning is going to reduce. I don't think the earning is going to reduce as drastically as you think or some people are thinking. It might marginally reduce for some members, but for most members that are willing to, like Denby said, don't buy basic fares, buy standard, if not flex. If you're buying flex fares, have at least 25K, if not 50K status or more. I think in most cases that I calculated, you would be earning slightly more points, and in some cases, SQCs as well. That'll go for status qualification. Um, I wish I had my rough notes around here with me, but I've been sort of just like randomly doing these math numbers as I search for some tickets and come through and put my simple math skills to test. So give it a try. Oh, for entry without status. Oh yeah, for entry without status is just, yeah, it's a thing on its own. The 10% head start was interesting to me. It will be replacing the rollover. So a lot of people that were piling on the SQM through their credit card spend uh, probably will not like this entire 10% head start, but 10% head start is not bad, given that it's a defined benefit and that's what you get, 10% of whatever you are over by. You would get that as your SQC going forward. So I think I like the defined benefit. And of course, this defined 10% head start replacing rollover SQM is for Aeroplan premium credit card members. So again, one more tick against premium credit cards for people that are hesitating in getting a premium credit card. So yet another thing that you should consider before deciding on a premium card or not. Yeah. So milestones, we kind of spoke about this. Your milestone sort of choices include everything from priority reward to e-upgrade credits to some car and hotel redemption vouchers, e-store redemptions, free Aeroplan points, lounge passes, status passes. So they have all of these benefits rolled in. But of course, as we've discussed with your SQCs, it starts as low as 10K SQC, which is just 10 e-ups. And then we go from there. And in the heights of 200,000 SQC or 220 perhaps, you even get your banked super elite. But Carol says, I wonder how those who are closing in on million mile status feel now that the bonus miles don't count towards that. Yeah, that is definitely a bit of a downer, Carol. I noticed some conversation in on Flyer Talk about this. So yeah, although nothing changes in terms of calculation, the additional bonus miles don't count, which is a bit of a bummer for those that are on the cusp of their million-mile journey. Yeah, brutal, says Martin. Time for some 2025 mileage runs. Justin, so you can earn SQC flying on a United flight. Yes, correct. So there's this entire concept of who issues the ticket, right, Justin? A bucket, right? So 014. If your ticket starts with 014, that's an Air Canada issued ticket. So even if you are booking a United flight, United operated flight, say, for example, from Ottawa to Chicago, United flight, but you booked it using Air Canada website, that'll be a 014 ticket, then yes, you do. If you, in fact, vice versa works as well. If you're using Air Canada metal on United's website, so it's a non-014 booking that you're doing, you'll just earn less, but you'll still be earning something, and the metrics used will be very much of the loyalty program that you add in there. In this case, this was the far, like completely what they were going for. So, super elite member buying business class tickets from Vancouver to Tokyo, you would pretty much earn in that calculation 56,000 points and 37 SQC just on that one trip alone. If you just for a second set aside the fact that that one ticket was almost 9,000 Canadian dollars, the calculation with the 6x super elite multiplier thrown in there with the base fare and the 4x for the SQC accumulated, you were earning 56,000 points on just that one ticket and 37 SQC. So you were hitting up 35K just on that one ticket alone. And compared to the current version, you would have gotten just under 7,000 SQM or 7,000 points, which is nowhere close, right? So yeah, so almost 6 times better is what you were doing in that example. But there are several other examples which are very similar that you actually came out much, much ahead. We did a domestic one, we did a Toronto, Vancouver example, and in all of those cases, you were better off in this revenue model one. But of course, we were assuming that you were at least 25K or above, and the higher you were, the bigger the bridge was in terms of earning SQM versus points or SQCs in the current in the revenue model base. All right, that's anything else? Anything that we may have missed we should talk about or that we haven't? We spoke about the non-014 tickets as well. E-ups, we've kind of e-ups are a thing of its own, just through milestones now, as opposed to getting any of those. What else? There was something in my notes that I thought we should talk about. Uh, oh yeah, so 200 SQC milestone is the bank super elite. So yeah, I did write that down. And EDQ or the everyday qualification continues as is, so they haven't touched that. So as long as through partners, otherwise you get your 25,000 or you get your 25K status through the EDQ, and the baseline is still the same, which is 100,000 base points for flying or everyday activities. And yeah, we kind of spoke about the million mile recognition as well with Carol's question. Lifetime qualifying miles will continue to be calculated based solely on distance flown on eligible Air Canada operated flights. However, fare type bonuses will no longer apply. All right. So yeah, in terms of the timelines, like I said, no changes right now. Changes going to affect January 1st, 2026. And everything you do in the calendar year 2026 will impact your status for 2027. All right, folks, let's close this one out. Great hang. Take care, everybody. Cheers.